Chomp, chomp, chomp. Welcome to a new episode of Shark Attack Sunday here at Indie Film Cafe. I'm your old pal, the Moo Cow, aka Paul A Presenza. How's it going, everybody?
Woo.
And I am joined by
Jonathan A. Moody, your co-host.
Yay. And then together, both of us are joined by
John Moo Ward.
Outstanding.
And you are a co-host of this as well. Us three, and Madeline Deering are all going to be co-hosting the show. We'll be picking out our own episodes.
Yes, and I tried to pick out films that I thought were good.
Boy, did you read the wrong memo.
I don't think so. I've seen your list, sir. Your two movies.
I would say one is fun and one is a ripoff that's fun. And so I won't say what they are until we put them up. But
yeah, both my picks are shitty.
And as people that are watching this can see, both of you have wallpaper or backgrounds or whatever you want to call it up from the film. I refuse to promote this film in my little box. So with a picture.
John Ward loved this movie, which is titled Shark Huntress.
My mother is a dreamer.
Where would the world be without dreamers?
An unidentified female Caucasian has been found dead. Experts are puzzled by the bite imprint, which appears to be from a great white shark.
There hasn't been sharks in these oceans for years.
If we go out there, we're totally on our own.
Did you hear about the lady got taken by a great white shark yesterday?
Dean! Get out of water!
Your obsession with this shark is losing focus of the main objective. And I don't want to lose you.
Finding this shark is a priority number 1 on my list.
They put that great white in the water. They're trying to kill us. Shark!
If I get a chance, I would skewer it through the heart and roast it over the fire. Let's go.
Shark Huntress, where she hunts a shark.
Yes.
No, she doesn't. She does not.
That's the title of the movie.
She stands next to her dead mother's body and says, "I'm going to hunt this shark for killing you, mommy."
You are being way too coherent in your language for how she spoke. I mean, it was like hearing Melania Trump talk. My God. And if people look at the poster for this, if you remember on Red Letter Media, they talked about the filmmakers of this movie should be sued for false advertising of the cover. And the filmmakers of Shark Huntress should also, or at least the distribution company.
The distribution company, Green Apple Entertainment or whatever they are, they also put out another movie called Alien Shark. And if you recall correctly, John, that I showed you the cover of it. It looks identical, basically, just a different girl and a different different weapon. That's it. But it's the same thing.
I'm getting a vibe, an Eastern European vibe from this because they're clearly our lead actress, which is Katrina Gray, is Czechoslovakian. Okay, that's why she's got that noodles in her mouth accent. And then I'm thinking that's where some of the money comes in, because there's this one scene where this guy with an obvious, very thick Czech accent comes on and he's like, "Oh, I cleaned the beach." And then, he's picking up shit off the beach and then he gets eaten by the shark, which is my favorite damn
oh my God, that scene so reminded me of like Birdemic or one of those kind of things.
Yeah, I messaged Jonathan and say this is worse than Birdemic, and I almost take that back because I love Birdemic. I have it on I have it on Blu-ray. I have the riff tracks of Birdemic.
You can't tell me Birdemic's a good movie.
No, it's a good bad movie.
Okay, good.
It's a good bad movie, but I love it. I watch it every Thanksgiving. The sequel's not as good, but I still enjoy both. and I almost find it insulting that I compared this to
that's kind of what I was going for, because this movie's kind of like Sharkdemic. It takes that same super heavy-handed message to pound you over the head, combined with just bad acting and terrible story and terrible editing and just total ridiculousness, not to mention just boring sections where just nothing happens, and it's just
no, and it's all thick accents, and I've said this before, I don't care if you have a thick accent that I can't understand. I don't want you in my movie. I don't. I mean, put subtitles or something, or I don't care. If I can't understand you, which I could not understand our lead actress most of the time, and she is literally a 2x4 walking around. She is a horrible, I'm going to say it one more time, horrible actress. She is literally one of the worst actresses I've ever seen. She has the expression of a piece of wood.
Didn't you say she was like catatonic or something?
Yeah. It seemed like she was dead while walking around. Zombies do have more expressions than she does. She is hideous. And what maybe would have made it up is if she was naked. Sorry if that offends people, but if you're a bad actress, give me some nudity to make it up.
Here we go. Now, this is what the movie had going for it. Okay, first, it's supposedly about a shark. We'll get into that. Secondly, it does have pretty locations. Okay, so they shot it somewhere. I don't know if it's Indonesia or not, but they did have some nice beaches and some nice water and some nice locations. So somebody spent some money. Some Eastern European producer, the guy that was in that scene, for example, spent their money on that. And then the other thing is, I'm not sure if this movie was shot digitally, but at least the imagery looked clean. It looked pretty good. It's just, it wasn't like, our buddy Dustin Ferguson's movies where everything just looks like shit. It looked much better than that. However, the story was just so bad and just continuity horseshit. Let me give you my favorite example of this. Okay, remember when she decides, they offer for her to do the diving thing, even though she's like, oh, well, we're not here for pleasure, but we think about it. And then 2 seconds later, oh, they're going to go learn how to dive. So she's in the pool with the diving instructor, and then she has, like 3 feet underwater, so not very deep at all in the pool. Then she starts to have the shark dream freak out, where she just inexplicably can't be underwater, and she starts to quote unquote drown, and then her quote unquote boyfriend wannabe jumps in to save her, and then he spazzes out on the beach guy. What happened to the fucking the instructor who was right there in the last scene? He was physically right there. The next scene where he's gone, completely gone, like he never was there. It's like such bad editing. Just terrible.
Yeah, so there was some terrible editing. There's a lot of terrible acting. The dude that John, I know you thought the one dude looked like Hulk Hogan or something.
The guy behind Paul there. Yeah. Or Duck Dynasty, I think is probably closer.
Yeah. I thought he looked more like Brian Johnson from Comic Book Men, the guy who directed Vulgar and has this really long gray beard now and everything, but he looks, Brian Johnson would have done a better acting job than this guy.
I like to call this guy, his name is Guru, the character, by the way, and I called him Dumb Dynasty.
Who dies off screen and he just magically dies in the ocean, when I thought he was going to come back at the end and be on the bad guy's side. Like he faked his death, and then all of a sudden he'd walk out of the shadows and be with that, British Indian guy and be like, haha, I've been behind this the whole time. No, we never see him through the rest of the movie. He just dies. Almost like he couldn't, he's like, I quit. This sucks. And then
maybe that was it. That's what I was thinking, is that they couldn't film him, so they're like, oh, let's just make him die off screen.
He's just such a weird character. He watches the Czechoslovakian producer guy. He's the guy who meets him on the beach, sees that he gets killed. He washes up on the beach, even though there's really no evidence that a shark killed him. He's just there with a shirt that's got some red on it. That's it. No bite marks, no gore, no nothing. And then he goes back and he sits at the table. He's drinking, and he's like, yeah, he doesn't even say oh, well, I just watched the guy get eaten by a shark in front of me. It's just like, there was some kind of weird aliens under the water. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, what? Yeah, where is that all from? And and then they say that the evil plastic people are the ones who put the shark in the water. And it's like, okay, the shark's being a shark. The shark's doing what a shark does. And most of the time, sharks don't attack people. So you should be, maybe the shark is genetically enhanced or something.
Yeah.
And you notice they run with that super early too, where he just says, oh, it must be the plastic people, as opposed to the shark killing her. After that, they're like, we have to plan, we have to walk around, we have to memorize these maps. You can't tell anything about what's going on to anybody because the plastic people are going to find out. I'm like, dude, it was a fucking shark. Are you telling me they trained the shark to go kill your mom? Didn't you just sob in front of your mom and say you were going to go kill the shark? Now it's about the plastic people because this idiot says plastic people? Like, what? You didn't earn that.
Well, and I think my comparison to Birdemic is, Birdemic, of course, is environmental, the air, it's got the birds that are attacking. This is environmental with the beach and the water, with the plastic all around. And you got the shark, you got the guy from Duck Dynasty, who is, if you remember in both Birdemic films, you had the hippie guy who lived up in the trees. That would come down and talk about the earth and the air and all that stuff. That's where so I'm going like, oh my God, this is like, are they ripping off Birdemic?
You know
who's
what?
going to rip off Birdemic?
It's a formula at this point.
Yeah. And I would actually be okay with people ripping off Birdemic as long as it was as it was fun and goofy and stuff. But this is just sort of like, bleh,
Here's the thing, though.
Worse.
The thing that pushes Birdemic over the top, in my personal opinion, aside from the acting and much of the crap, is the incredibly bad, silly CGI birds and the explosions and all that shit. This movie lacked that. As a matter of fact, it pretty much lacks a shark. All you see is a fin every now and again. You see a couple of lame-ass attacks where the people are like, there's blood in the water before the people even bother screaming, first of all. It's just ridiculous, and you don't really see a shark.
Yeah, and two people die off screen, and we're just supposed to think that, okay, that's how they died. I mean, it was definitely there to... One, this is how you avoid a shark attack. Don't go in the water. It's very simple. I mean, if it is Birdemic and there's birds, okay, that's a little more difficult because you could go inside, but at some point you have to leave.
You would think so, Mr. Ward. We'll have to show you Marina Monster, where like 75,000 people fall into the water.
They just keep falling into the water. It just like keeps happening.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Well, you have to. Yeah. And it's just, none of this stuff makes sense. And I wonder if the film was retitled, and then given that poster.
I thought so. Okay. So I thought so too, right? Like I thought, oh man. So I looked it up on IMDb. You know how they have like the also known as,
right?
And so I looked it up. Also known as Shark Huntress, also known as Shark Huntress, also known as Shark Huntress. So I'm like, I guess from the very beginning, they were planning it to be Shark Huntress, and somewhere along the way, like they were like, well, we got to tell a different story, or whatever, like it doesn't have anything to do with hunting a shark at all.
No, and maybe I don't know if you guys have ever seen that Jenna Malone movie called Corn with a K.
Oh yeah, I got that.
I have not. No.
Okay,
I love Jenna Malone.
Love her. So, and it looked like a horror movie that dealt with
it's not
corn
really.
and cows and chickens and all that type of stuff.
Paul would have loved the cows.
Yeah, and it isn't. It's an environmental kind of like food processing film. It's not a horror movie at all. So I got kind of mad going, well, why is this being advertised as a horror movie?
Yeah.
And especially with Corn with a K, I mean, it's like California with a K. And I'm thinking like, okay. And it isn't at all. So if you want to do this type of movie, don't call it Shark Huntress. Call it something else. Call it something more environmental or whatever it is.
Because you're really people.
Invasion of the plastic people.
And and who are these plastic people? He kept saying plastic people.
I keep hoping that there's somebody who's made of plastic that comes out.
I know.
Well, and at the very beginning, I think it's the one that Moody has is the brunette there, is she's using that camera to film herself. And she goes, look at all the plastic in the water. You could see a rope that's in that little like boat area that is made to trap the plastic bottles.
Right.
So she's showing an area, look at all those plastic bottles, where they're already trying to prevent plastic from going into the ocean.
I love the fact that these are supposed to be environmental people trying not to, save the ocean from being polluted. Meanwhile, they take the dead mother's ashes and start dumping that shit into the fucking ocean to pollute it.
Yeah.
And then they stand there and the ashes are like lapping around their legs because they're right there. I'm like, ew, aren't you guys like
it's
out?
blowing into them. It's the ocean sending it back to them,
gross.
It was pretty bad.
Everything and everybody in this has an accent. And
fail.
And trust me,
God. It was like every person had a different accent. It was like everybody from every fucking part of the world was in this one movie. There was like somebody with an Australian accent, somebody with an English accent, somebody with an American accent, two people with American accents, somebody with a Slovakian accent. I mean, everybody had a different accent. It drove me nuts.
The one American guy, the really bland one whose name I never got, he's the one who gets the information from about the shark attack from the bartender. Okay, so he goes to the bartender, he gets his beers, and he's like, what about that shark attack? He's like, oh yeah, this woman got killed and nobody knows what's going on. Then he goes right back to the group and tells them all this detail about shark stuff that the fucking bartender never said because we saw him tell them exactly what it was. And it had nothing to do with all that detail. I'm like, you just pulled that out of your ass, buddy.
Yep. Well, I mean, the whole movie pulls everything out of their ass. There was at one point there was just so much talking in the movie that after a while I was just like, and it was Birdemic nonsense, because what Birdemic did was they had a lot of talk about like solar stuff and all.
Because the guy was like, it was like a solar panel salesman,
right? So they talked about all of that stuff all the time and blah blah blah. And then there was all this talk about algae and all this other plastic stuff and everything. But it's like they were literally the black chick in it was like literally looking up like Wikipedia, stuff and just reading the Wikipedia stuff. And I'm like, can we move along the plot a little bit? Like, this is driving me nuts.
No, because it's all dialogue. I mean, remember the maps. They go into that place to buy maps, and the guy has 3 perfect maps that are already outlined for them to take. He charges them for the maps, and then later, when he's like on the phone, he's like, "Oh my God, they got the maps. They have the maps. What are we going to do? They have the maps. They didn't steal them. You sold them the maps. And if you're selling them the maps, that means that you probably have 20 of each that you sell to people, to tourists." Yeah. So unless the guy's like, so I thought, okay, maybe this guy gave them the maps on purpose, like, ha, I work for the big plastic people. I'm going to give them these maps. But then why are you selling them? I guess maybe to put some money in his pocket. But I don't know. This thing was so.
Or you think that you would give them the wrong maps, disinformation.
Yeah.
And I love it because she's like, "Oh, let me put this in my computer. I've done a simulation to figure out where the bodies go." I'm like, "Okay, what program did you use for that? Please tell me exactly what that was."
Well, all you say in these movies is she's a hacker. And all that stuff can just be explained.
No,
all that's
that's
literally what they think.
But put next to her computer maybe a printer, and then she can go, "Oh, I could scan this into my computer." Okay, a lot of printers have scanners, but she had nothing around her, so she said, "Oh, I'm going to scan it with what?"
And here's the thing, she's established herself to this point as nothing more than a bubblegum chomping twit who just looks at her camera all day long going, selfie time.
For people to know, that's the brunette that Moody has over there. Yeah, is that we're talking about. Yeah. Who can fix anything.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh yeah, I think I could get like a radar off of that." And then she hops up on the roof and cuts a couple cords and sticks them back together.
Like, come on, you can't even figure out what ear to hide your gum behind. Give me a break.
Speaking of which, I was telling Paul about this earlier. One of my favorite scenes in the whole movie is the scene where the guru, the guy you love, John Ward, he's drunk as shit, And he's like, and I felt like this was real, like he was really drunk, and they just recorded it, or whatever. But he's like, he's like, I know things, or whatever. I know things. And then she's like, what do you know? He's like, you're just a drunk or whatever. He's like, get out of here. And then they're like, and then they blah, blah, blah. You don't know anything. And he goes, I know things. I know where the hidden base is. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? The whole time you kept telling her you don't know where this is.
Yeah, and then
now
they get pissed off at him for that too.
They push him for a second, and then it cuts to next they're all in bed hugging and talking to each other and everything. I'm like,
ridiculous.
And so, but I was telling Paul, I never noticed this until I videotaped it to send to Samantha Marie because she wanted to know how bad it was. That scene right there defined how terrible the movie is. But if you look at it, if you look at the reflection, you can see the brunette girl sitting down, like watching them talk or whatever, when it's a 2-shot of them. But then when it's a 2-shot of the main girl, she's with her, next to her. Sheila. So like there's continuity issue right there, like completely, like a terrible continuity issue. And I'm like, they just don't care, like at all.
How about that incredibly awesome ending too, where he's trying to make her sign over the thing, and of course the one guy grabs the pen, stabs him, falls into the water, only to be immediately eaten by the fake shark.
Eaten by the styrofoam shark fin that can't even go straight. It's like this. And I think they tried to make a fake shark, or maybe they tried to use some stock footage, because in one shot you did see a full like top of a shark on the surface, but the rest of it was just the fin. Yeah, and it's just like what the fuck is this? What am I?
I love the fact that it's just been sitting there waiting the entire time, like a diner waiting for its meal. It's like sitting there, come on, I'm getting hungry.
This is the problem I have with like independent films these days, is they can't afford to do a shark movie. Don't fucking do a shark movie. It's the same thing as that movie Dead Sea, where the cover of it's this big gigantic like creature. And then you watch the movie and there's no creature at all in the whole movie. It's just people getting pulled under the water and stuff. And I'm just like, if you can't have the monster in the movie, don't do the movie. And I don't care if you could have a fin, coming out. Like, no, if you can't have a fake shark, even a Ouija shark or whatever, they do CGI sharks,
Love Ouija
shark. Do a CGI shark. We are going to be doing Ouija shark. This year. No,
Ouija shark and Ghost
Shark Attack Sunday. But yeah, all those kind of stuff I love. I adore that. But if you do this and it's just terrible,
that's why I don't think this was ever meant to be a shark movie. I think that this was an environmental film, and the shark thing was in the background, and it was all about plastic and chemicals and all that, which is fine. Just make it that. Call the movie that. Don't, because that poster, if I was searching on Tubi for a shark movie, I would watch it. Looking at that poster, I'd be like, oh, that looks kind of cool. This chick's going to take on like a great white. Right. And then I did watch the trailer when I found out that we were going to watch that. And I went, oh,
it's got nice locations, got a pretty
beautiful
girl in a
locations.
Bikini,
yeah,
pretty girl in bikini, shark. I mean, how could you go wrong? Well, guess what?
Spear gun.
And please, for a second, we have to touch on Miss Katrina Gray's performance here. As John Ward points out, it is just bad. I mean, and it's not so much her accent that bothers me; it's just her line delivery is terrible. And part of this, I blame the director. You can't tell me that guy was there sitting behind camera going, okay, that's fine, move on. Really? That you didn't?
We got it in one take.
Extra takes, please. Those are the best ones. Come on, dude. You made her look horrible.
Yeah. She really, and who knows, maybe if she speaks in her own language in a film in her, in her own country, maybe she's okay. Who knows? Maybe this is her, maybe she's one of those actresses that she gets, she says the lines, but she doesn't know what they mean. Because they used to do that with Chow Yun-fat. He never knew
Yeah.
English, and he would just say the words but not know what they mean.
Well, she's in a few other movies that I intend on watching, so we will
Oh,
find
sweet
out.
Jesus.
But
And she has directed one and wrote
written
one
and directed her
and
own film.
starring in it. So I really want to see it. Something
Oh,
about
we got to save that one
nightmares.
for you, Mr. Ward. I can't wait.
Yeah, we got to.
Are they horror films at least, or are they like more serious?
It looks like a thriller horror kind of thing. So I don't know, but the director of this, John Riggins, this is his only movie.
Yeah,
You know?
what
Thank
a surprise!
God.
What a surprise!
Here's another thing: if you're gonna make your first movie, don't make a shark movie, or don't put a shark movie. Don't call it a shark movie. Like literally, if you're gonna make a movie, the Invasion of the Plastic People or something like that would be a much better movie. You know, make that, and that's fine to start with.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. That's why I don't think this was a shark movie to begin with. Maybe this was an environmental film, and they're like, okay, it's boring. We need to put something in it. I mean, you know, obviously somebody had money to go shoot where they were at. I mean, they were probably there, I would think,
Czechoslovakian money, yeah,
7 days or longer. I mean,
producer,
even
the producer's married to the lead actress, by the way. The lead.
Yeah, there you go.
So that makes total sense. Yeah.
Unfortunately, that they didn't spend the money on hiring, an actual veteran director, because if you really look at the other performances, they're all pretty bad. I mean, they really are.
But she elevates her. I mean, she elevates all of them. I mean, because she's so bad, they look good.
Yeah. The brunette girl was actually my favorite of the other actors. You know, even though her character was a twit and an idiot, she delivered her lines as well.
Oh my God! And she kept talking in emojis.
Yes.
Oh God! That shit.
Everything was emojis.
I know.
That's her character trait.
For a second, I was brought back to Karis Hell. I was expecting her to go #shark, #plastic, #lol.
Well, instead we got emoji. Was it happy emoji? You know, like, or whatever, and shit like that, which annoyed me after a while. I'm like,
nobody talks like that.
Yeah, nobody says that out loud, even if they're like a social media nut. But hey, as Paul had pointed out in our last video that we did, the whole idea was that you have to put everything out on social media, or
use the social media to change the education of people around the world.
Exactly. So that was I guess that was the theme of this movie.
But I got nothing out of that.
No,
I got nothing. I know plastic is bad. I already know it, and there are certain people who don't care. So
we all know about it.
I mean, yeah, some people care and some people don't. And at the very end, we must change. What is it? Change the world.
Yeah, we're going to save the world.
Save the world. And it's like, no, you're not. Oh, and to go back to Mr. Duck Dynasty guy, one of the reasons why I thought that he was playing on the other side is whenever people said they were going to go pick up plastic, he never picked up plastic. He would walk on the beach and walk past people picking up plastic, but he never picked up plastic.
So he wouldn't do anything. He's always like telling, oh, you go carry her packages and you go do this. And
fuck you. You go carry her packages. That's what I said to the screen when he said that. It's like, who the fuck are you?
Guru does his own thing, like Guru beats to his own drum.
Apparently he just drinks a lot.
I'm telling you though, if there had been some quality, and I do mean low quality, shitty CGI shark stuff with this would be up there, in my opinion, with Birdemic as far as it being a terrible movie. But it just lacks the fun because you don't have that extra bit of shitty goodness that makes this a fun movie. Instead, you're getting all the torment without all the fun.
You need a flying shark that bombs on people, and then this movie would have been actually more fun, but it really didn't elevate it to that high standard. And
we've talked about how this is what happens when you end up making a crappy movie because you took it too damn seriously. Instead of embracing the fact that you don't have a lot of money to do the stuff you wanted to do, you pushed it anyway and you were too serious about it. You should have accepted it and turned it around and used it as a virtue, like in Rectuma.
Yeah. Okay. So look, when you think about this stuff, you look at these kind of movies. A lot of them are so very serious, but they are terrible. because, or whatever, because they take it too seriously. That becomes camp. This did not go to camp. This just was boring, at
went
times.
to sleepaway camp.
Yes. Dude, I started falling asleep. Like, this is literally a boring ass movie. And I can't, this is not something I want. Like, I will never watch this again. And
I can't imagine it. I mean, if you're gonna do something like kill people off screen and say that they were eaten by a shark, just put in some stock footage of a shark.
Yeah, something.
Even
it's Donald Farmer
that
does that, and Donald Farmer has is very low budget. He's no budget, but at least he knows.
Well, there must be a pack that you buy. I'm guessing with these sharks, because Donald Farmer, Mark Polonia, Dustin Ferguson, all these people Brett Kelly, who make these shark movies, it's all the same footage. The shark that goes by the screen, that goes by the camera like that. The shark that comes at the camera. Yeah, there's got to be some, unless they're just taking it off of YouTube.
No, what I'm saying is, like, maybe they're buying these. They're probably buying stock footage shark stuff. That you can,
which is fine, because at least they're showing a shark.
There's a movie.
They've already got bad CGI shark. Yeah. So that exists. That's pretty much like stock footage.
Here's my question. Madeline Deering has not met a shitty shark movie that she hasn't loved to death. Is she gonna love this?
Oh no, she has, and we're gonna cover a couple of them that she she has. She hated Apex Predators
because she even liked
that's understandable.
She even liked Marina Monster, and that was bad.
She liked it. She liked it because it talked, because the shark talked and stuff, and said like nom noms, and stuff. So like she enjoyed that, part of it. Which I mean. I don't think she would give it a 2 on the stinkometer. She'd probably still give it a high, thing. Yeah. But like she enjoys that kind of stuff.
Well, I'm dying to see what she would have to say about Shark Huntress.
I would love to hear what her thoughts are on this too at some point.
My problem is with a lot of this type of stuff and how people review them and like them is not everything is good. So I remember long ass time ago, I worked in a video store, decades ago, and one of our managers is gay. And so he had his own section. And so there were all gay movies. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, are all of them good? And he's just like, well, no, but I just want people to know that they're out there. And I'm like, yeah, but why not recommend good films? Why recommend bad films? So it'd be like,
I would recommend bad films.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like, if you have an entire section of just shark movies, you're not going to say every one of those shark movies is good. You're going to be like, oh yeah, well, Jaws is good, but Shark Huntress is bad. Oh, but this one is so bad it's good. I mean, everything is good. Not every zombie movie is good.
As a business, you're not supposed to really be doing that. I mean, because, everybody has different tastes. So there's got to be somebody out there that watched Shark Huntress and going to love it,
Oh, God.
That's
I don't think even the filmmakers like this movie. They're probably like, well, let's just put it out there because we made it.
Well, it's up to you, Mr. Moody. You're going to have to dig up Mr. Riggins and interview him on our show and see what he has to say.
It's his only movie, though. Won't be much to talk about except for this. I mean, we won't be able.
Oh, there's plenty. If he was on one filmmaker, I mean, I could get probably at least a good 90 minutes to 2 hours out of this.
There you go.
You want me to get him on your show? I could try to find him.
Sure, why not? Yeah, I mean, I'd have to be honest with him.
So we're gonna have to somehow get a movie where Katrina Gray and Alex Villaret are both acting in the same film, because I'm dying to see this now. And we might as well throw in Tommy Wiseau and anybody else who has a really thick accent, because
Neil Breen, even though Neil Breen doesn't have an accent.
No, but it would just be a funny fucking movie to me that you have this movie where nobody can understand any of the people. What they're saying. I just think that would be a great film.
All right.
I think if our lead actress had more of a personality and was a better actress,
there you go,
then maybe her accent wouldn't have been so bad. But I was hoping, I'm like, okay, please, does this have closed captioning? And it didn't.
No.
And I'm just like, I cannot understand what she says.
Right.
And what she's saying. And it's just like, this is killing me. I thought the only decent actor in there was like the Indian British guy, like our bad guy. I thought he was the only decent actor.
He was pretty good. I like the brunette girl. I thought she was.
She was good. I liked her too.
Yeah, I enjoyed her. I just didn't.
I enjoyed her tight shorts.
There's that.
I didn't enjoy. You know, I don't know. This whole movie is just. It was terrible. Like
the clusterfuck.
Thank you. I'm so pleased you guys thought it was shitty.
So this brings me to my our stinkometer, and Paul, please explain the stinkometer for people who may not be familiar with Indie Film Cafe.
Scoring our movie 1 to 10, by which the lowest number means a better film, and the higher the number, the amount of stink means it's a shitty movie. Although, you know, a lot of us love really shitty films, but it also means that there's a lot more problems with it. So there you go. Yeah. And if you feel like it's in between, you give it a 5, and you can give a 5.5, 6.5, whatever, as if you're being subtle about it. And then, we'll total it up and see where it lands on the ladder of stink.
So we know John loves us as much as Alien Beast, so he's going to give it a 5, right, on the stinkometer.
Low rating from John, right?
Am I going first?
If you want to, sure.
I give it a 10.
Yeah. The last one you gave a 10 was 90210 Shark Attack.
Yeah, so. I've got to say, I actually think this is still better than that. You know, at least this, I do. I think this is, I don't know. I don't want to watch either one again. But I don't know. Maybe because of I was going to give this a 9.5 because of its location. I loved its location. Yeah. Yes. It looked good. The sound was good. And so that has something
actually
going for
pretty
it.
Decent, you know.
Yeah, the sound was okay.
And that's why I'm sticking with a 9.5, because there are a couple of decent production things about this film. And like I said, I liked the way it looked in some cases. And I mean, we have seen worse looking and worse sounding films. So yeah, 9.5 for me.
So I'm going to have to give it a 10. Like I can't, even with the location and the sound stuff, you know, and being able to see everything, having the lighting be great and everything. It was a terrible movie. It was terrible. Like there's nothing that shit can't save it. There was no shark really. There was a fin and maybe an outline of a shark.
Were you offended by the lack of shark? Is that
I was
offended.
I was offended. You know, I thought it was terrible. It was awful. See, if it had jokes like that, it might have made it more fun.
Well, that's just it. Somewhere along the line, somebody should have said, look, guys, we just don't have the capacity to make this a serious film. Let's just go with it. Let's just have fun with it. Let's just make this fun. And nobody did that. And
no,
but instead of having, so keep with the girl's mother getting killed by the shark, have one scene and that brings her to the island. And then the rest of the movie, it's just environmental. You got the big wig company, plastic people that are trying to stop them, and don't put in the shark again. Just make it plastic people versus environmentalist. And then you would probably have a better movie.
There you go. Plastic people versus environmentalists. There's the next movie. Yeah. Right.
And I can't, I don't, because I feel I have to redeem myself for what was it? Alien Beast. Not exactly knowing at the time how the stinkometer worked.
Okay.
You
do.
Yeah. And 9.5 would have been fine for the locations, but then I think back to Alien Beast and I go, I can't do that again. I can't, I can't give them credit for a good location and decent sound. It has to be a 10 for a bad movie.
Yeah, this was a terrible movie, and it does not go back around or anything to it does. It is not a movie that I could even say that
does not go around. It just goes blah 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 to the bottom of the ocean.
She doesn't kill the shark or anything. I mean,
no, she doesn't
hunt.
She doesn't
do
anything.
The shark gets away with it.
Yeah, it's got some pretty good meals there. So
and on top of that, it's like the whole shark huntress aspect of it, where she's trying to hunt the shark because they're going to different locations, like location 99 or something like that, or whatever the location that they were supposed to go to. That was where the hidden base was, or whatever, like her secret spot is. Base. Yeah, like she. Oh my God, when they were supposed to go and we never see them go like looking for this stuff. We just hear them come back. It's just like, if you don't have the money to do this stuff, don't do it. Just make something else.
I don't think that place that the Duck Dynasty guy took them to, I think that was a still. Because whenever they cut back to it, there's no trees moving. If the shot's no different, I think it's a still. And he goes, oh, well, it had graffiti on. Oh, it had this on it. Oh, it had that. And you're getting a shot of completely different angles of them looking at the place. And I think it was a still that they took that was in there. And I think that they're in front of a green screen a few times.
This is the perfect example of a movie gaslighting you, because you think this is going to be a gritty movie where this chick is looking for revenge to kill this shark who killed her mother, but no, she doesn't bother doing that at all. And in matter of fact, by the time the movie ends, the shark is practically a pet because she's feeding it, and the shark gets away, doesn't get killed, and it's perfectly happy to live out and swim around and eat some more people.
All right. So anyway, we're just gonna say that this is a terrible movie, and people shouldn't even watch it on Tubi for free.
Yes, you should. It's terrible.
Oh, I would not recommend it. I can't. Nope.
Madeline Deering, I'm dying to hear what you have to say about Shark Huntress.
I'm sure because it is a shitty shark movie and she does her shitty shark show, she will watch it at some point. So I would love to hear that. I would love to listen to that podcast. So I guess there are probably podcasts that talk about this movie. I say no. I say if you're gonna watch any other, fucking watch Ouija Shark. Watch something else. Don't watch this. And
there is Ouija Shark 2 coming out.
There you go.
There you go. The sharkening.
Yep. So
and Joseph Kelly gets a lot of crap for that film too, but I really like it.
Which one?
Ouija Shark.
Oh, you mean Brett Kelly?
Brett Kelly. Sorry, yes. Brett Kelly.
Brett Kelly and Joseph Kelly are completely different directors, but
yes, Joseph. Kelly, yes. Yeah, Joseph did Clown Motel, right?
Clown Motel. Yep.
Yeah, Clown Motel.
But no, Brett Kelly did Jurassic Shark, Raiders of the Lost Shark. A lot of those Wild Eye releasing movies and whatnot.
More fun with those.
Yeah, those were more fun. Those are stuff that we enjoy.
Not taking themselves too seriously.
Yeah, I mean, they take themselves seriously enough where, because you have to buy into the fact that it's a fake shark, but they're still having fun with it. Like, they know it's not, they know it's not a real, it's not going to change the world. Like this movie probably thought it was going to change the world. Oh my God, we're going to make people see that putting plastic cups in the water, and then later on, hopefully picking them up. I hope you picked them up, you people that are, making this movie. I didn't see that part.
We have to save the world.
There's another thing that bothered me is that you said, John, that they had that little part cut off or whatever and stuff. But what bothered me was they were videotaping the fact that there's pollution in the water, but then they didn't show anybody go up and say, just like us, you need to clean this out.
Yeah, they don't actually do anything about it.
Yeah, so it's like, what are you trying to say to people?
You have the one guy who likes the lead girl, and in that video that the brunette's shooting, he's like, I'm going to go start right now, and I'm not going to wait for you. I'm going to go do it myself. And then that's the only thing that we
but he doesn't actually do anything. Nobody does anything except the one Czechoslovakian producer guy who gets eaten.
Yeah.
I mean, any of these, which I would have been better than us. So,
I want to see Sharkula.
Anything, Mark Polonia will be better than anything.
I mean,
here,
Yeah, that's so. Thank you, Paul.
Cha-ching, baby.
Well, there you go. Paul had to pick. He picked a pretty bad one. I wasn't sure how bad this was going to be, but
hey, don't forget, we got another one coming up for me. That's going to be later.
That's going to be in August, so get ready for that one.
I might have to change my 2 picks then if this is the route we're going.
I don't know, because what is it? You won't be in that one. Madeline Deering will be in the next Paul one, so you will be able to be you'll survive another attack. But
we're not doing all 4 of us. We're doing just 3 each, like 3 people in a.
Yeah, we're gonna do 3. 3 people in each one. So
okay.
mostly it will be you, me, and Madeline.
Mainly because, in order to keep it consistent with the Ladder of Stink, we need 3 scores and 4.
Madeline.
I gotcha.
Madeline couldn't join us in this one anyway, because she's shooting her own movie, Bathtub Shark Attack. So there you go. So she's shooting a shark movie.
Bathtub Shark Huntress.
Oh God! Don't give her the sequel idea. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Join us next week for another episode, and I believe it will be my pick. So let's have fun. We'll see what I torture John with. I got some bad ones.
I tried to pick stuff that was enjoyable. I maybe I'm wrong.
Rookie mistake.
Not on Indie Film Cafe, sir.
I guess not.
Film Cafe. All right, everybody, have a good one, and join us next week.
Bye everybody.